Hello and thanks for joining us on your #1 labor program from Africa to the rest of the world, the Tripartite, the Worker, Employer and Government Roundtable. I am Abulu Osemwahu. Now, are you aware that Nigeria has launched labor employment centers across the Federation? Are you also aware that migrant workers from Sierra Leone to Lebanon will be protected as labor ministers from the two countries met in Qatar to ensure that migrant workers are protected? Are you also aware that industrial oil is at DRC Congo to ensure that miners and other workers in the field have their rights protected? All this will come to you in our labor stories shaping the world of work globally. Now let's serve you with Did You Know?
Did you know?
I am Honorable Minister, State, Labor and Employment, and I'm watching Tripartite on AIT.
Welcome back. Now, before we give you the labor stories shaping the world of work globally, let's talk. And in our Let's Talk segment, we have the General Secretary of the International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC-Africa, Joel Odije, to tell us about the workers' demands at the upcoming COP30
discussion. Very important. Beyond, we talk about COP and then we leave it hanging, is that we want to mainstream ourselves into official processes. We want to have synergy with our government. We want to have collaboration, including when we are going to Berlin. We want trade union to be part of the official national delegation so that they can sit on the table when texts are being negotiated and they can influence the text. But importantly, like we have done with the G20 under the South African presidency, we have issued a public open letter to the president of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, stating what should be the African workers' position within the G20, among which is the issue of climate change, climate justice, how we should be able to advance it. And critical in that advancement for us is the question of transfer of technology. It's the question of how do we as Africans, without necessary, without continuing to hit our head against the wall, people are not listening. How do we address our own issues ourselves? It will include how do we also change lifestyle? How do we advance our industrialization sustainably in a way that it works for us? How do we tackle climate change issues? How do we adapt? How do we mitigate? In our own ways, we have started that discussion. And then to the green economy, practical examples. How do we also drive them in a way that it should happen to inspire others? I can tell you the discussions are going far. Excitement is gradually, rising in a positive manner. So I'm combining the fact that we have the G20 space to link to the COP30 space, where hopefully we can get better outcome compared to previous ones.
I am Comrade Festus Osifo, President Pengasan, President TUC. You are watching Tripartite on AIT.
Also in our Let's Talk segment, did you know that the Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union have a new president? Who is he and what is he proposing?
Elected as member of the National Officers Council of Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union, do solemnly swear that I shall be able sincerity, honesty, and diligence in the discharge of my responsibilities. That I shall place the interest of the union above mine and any other interest. That I shall serve and preserve the unity of the union, protect and defend the union's constitution without prejudice to the constitution and laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And any other laws or convention that may be binding on my country. So help me God. I stand here before you to present my inaugural speech. It is with utmost humility, profound gratitude, and deep sense of responsibility that I stand before you today as President of Coeasu. Today marks a defining moment, not just in my personal journey, but in the collective struggle of all academic staff in colleges of education. This moment is a testament of the trust that you reposed in me and the entire National Officers Council, which is evident by the election we had. This moment also is a testament to all of you, members of NEC and the entire Coeasu family, and the trust you have reposed on us shall never be taken for granted. I wish to, by this, express our gratitude to the Almighty God for life, good health, and guidance. My profound appreciation goes to the National Officers Council that we just dissolved, ably led by our smart president, Dr. Smart Olukpeko, for the tireless effort in defending the rights of our members, improving welfare, and protecting the relevance of colleges of education in Nigeria. I equally thank my colleagues, members of the National Officers Council, members of NEC, our forebears, our former presidents that have mentored us to what we are today. The mandate you gave us is clear: to protect the welfare of our members, to advance the cause of teacher education, and to build a stronger, more united Coeasu. We shall therefore continue to engage government and relevant agencies to ensure the full implementation of our basic instrumental needs with which this aspiration of ours can be achieved. Talking about the Coeasu federal government agreement, we shall also ensure the rights and privileges of our members is honored. Distinguished colleague and guest, the implementation of dual mandate marks a historic turning point in the evolution of colleges of education in Nigeria. It restores to our institution the full academic and professional autonomy to award both NCE and Bachelor in Education degree, thereby aligning teacher education with global best practice. These reforms is not just a policy shift, it is a validation of competence, capacity, credibility of our colleges of education and their staff. And we shall fight to ensure that that name called principal and the other one called chief must be removed from the College of Education system. A strong union is a united union. We shall invest in the training of our members, develop a data-driven policies, and strengthen our chapters to respond to local challenges effectively. Our union will encourage scholarly research, innovation among members to further enhance teacher education. That's why you see we have started partnering with agencies like AFID, which are responsible, or their main trust is the teacher education development in Nigeria. This will be done through deliberate and focused training and networking with development partners. Fellow comrades, the task ahead of us is enormous. However, I am confident with unity, resilience, commitment, we shall overcome every challenge. Let us put aside our differences, petty divisions, and work together for the betterment of our union, our members, and colleges of education in Nigeria. As we take on this responsibility, I pledge to serve with integrity, courage, accountability, and I call on all members to join hands with us in this journey. We shall build Coeasu that is stronger, more visionary, and responsive to the needs of our members. Thank you, and God bless you all. God bless teacher education, God bless Federal Republic of Nigeria, and God bless Coeasu. Solidarity,
I'm Reverend Professor Hyacinth Ichok, the Vice Chancellor of Veritas University, Abuja. Please keep watching the Tripartite program on AIT.
Welcome back. Now let's serve you with labor stories shaping the world of work globally. Don't forget to communicate with us through our social media handles. Send us email as displayed on the screen, and send us WhatsApp messages on the phone number displayed on the screen.
And welcome to this segment. I am Mark. Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions has warned that corruption and bad governance, not artificial intelligence, AI, posed the greatest threat to the future of work and job security in Nigeria. General Secretary of Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, Prince Peters Adeyemi, made this assertion in his address at the 2025 workshop of the Labour Writers Association of Nigeria, LAWAN, held in Ibadan, Oyo State. Represented by a former president of the union, Ivor Takor, Prince Adeyemi, who was the chairman of the event, said while AI was transforming the global workplace, it should not be seen as a destroyer of jobs but as a tool for enhancing productivity and empowering workers willing to adapt. On October 15, 2025, a United States district judge temporarily blocked the Trump administration from laying off thousands of federal workers during the ongoing government shutdown, citing clear political motivations behind the decision. According to the BBC, the ruling issued by U.S. District Judge Susan Ilston came less than a week after the administration confirmed that several agencies had begun laying off about 4,000 workers. The decision followed a request filed by two unions seeking to halt the layoffs affecting more than 30 federal agencies. During the hearing, Judge Ilston said she agreed with the unions that the administration was unlawfully using the lapse in funding, which began on October 1 to advance its broader plan to downsize the federal government. Nearly 32,000 Michigan home care workers have voted overwhelmingly to join Service Employees International Union, SEIU Healthcare Michigan, reclaiming union rights that were stripped away 13 years ago by anti-worker politicians. With 73% voting in favor, this is the largest union election victory in the region since auto workers organized in the 1940s and among the largest in SEIU's history.
If you're providing care for someone else and then you're sick, that's not helpful. Even change, and then we're going to gear up for, as is normal, right? Gear up for the bargaining process and get ready to work with the MDHHS, right? To figure out how do we make real solutions that benefits everybody.
Trade unions and civil society organizations are joining forces to tame the Congolese paradox in the battery supply chain. The paradox is evident in the stark contradiction in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, a nation endowed with vast natural resources such as cobalt, copper, coltan, and diamonds, which account for much of the global supply needed for electronics and electric vehicles, yet plagued by extreme poverty, armed conflict, corruption, and human and workers' rights violations. More than 120 participants from trade unions affiliated to Industrie-ALL, artisanal small-scale mining cooperatives, non-governmental organizations, and community groups gathered at a conference in Coeasu on the 9th of October to plot a collaborative assault on human and workers' rights violations in the DRC's critical raw materials supply chain. The Nigerian federal government has launched the National Job Center Project, a nationwide network of employability hubs aimed at tackling unemployment and promoting dignified, inclusive, and transformative work for its citizens. The Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkeruka Onigiocha, announced the initiative while speaking at the MasterCard Foundation annual Nigeria partner convening held in Lagos on October 16. According to the minister, the national job centers will integrate digital job matching, data tracking, and career advisory services to create a harmonized and inclusive system. The Kenyan government has unveiled a major plan to harmonize salaries across the public sector in a move aimed at eliminating long-standing disparities and ensuring fairness among civil servants. Speaking during the Kenya Civil Servants National Delegates Conference held at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development in Nairobi, on October 14, 2025, Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Human Capital Development, and Special Programs, Jeffrey Ruku, announced the establishment of a high-level task force to drive the harmonization process. Ruku said the task force will bring together key government institutions, including the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the Public Service Commission, and the State Department for Public Service and Human Capital Development. The team will be tasked with developing a framework to standardize pay and benefits across ministries, departments, and state agencies. In a bid to strengthen international labor cooperation, Sierra Leone's Minister of Employment, Labor and Social Security, Mohamed Rahman Souare, has held high-level talks with Lebanon's Minister of Labor, Mohamed Haidar. The bilateral meeting took place ahead of the 6th session of the Islamic Conference of Labor Ministers in Doha, highlighting a shared commitment to improving the conditions for migrant workers. The discussions focused on reinforcing the long-standing relationship between the two nations by advancing formal labor agreements and creating new investment and employment opportunities for Sierra Leoneans abroad. Minister Souare began by expressing his sincere gratitude to the Lebanese government for the support provided to Sierra Leonean citizens during the recent crisis in Lebanon, stating that this gesture underscored the depth of the people-to-people connection between the two countries. Looking to the future, Minister Souare proposed a key initiative, the establishment of a joint database system, a digital platform which would be crucial for both countries to regulate the flow of regular and irregular migration, track migrant workers and their families, and, most importantly, monitor the well-being of all Sierra Leonean workers in Lebanon. Some migrants coming to the UK will need to speak English to an A-level standard under tougher new rules set to be introduced by the government. The changes, which will come into force from the 8th of January 2026, will affect some graduates and those applying for skilled worker or scale-up visas, which are for people employed by fast-growing businesses. The new rules form part of wider plans to cut levels of immigration to the UK outlined in a white paper in May. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood said, "If you come to this country, you must learn our language and play your part." And that will be all on this segment. The program continues. I am Mark.
It will be a sign of relief for students as the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU suspends a 2-week warning strike. This suspension comes barely 24 hours after the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC President Joe Ajaero met all unions in the education sector. At the meeting, Ajaero had issued fresh 4 weeks for government to resolve all lingering issues as well as pushes for no pay, no work, should the government insist on no work, no pay.
The era of
signing agreements, reneging, and threatening the unions involved. That era has come to an end. The policy, the so-called policy of no work, no pay, to henceforth be no pay, no work.
According to the Nigerian labor law, the no work, no pay rule is supported by Section 43, subsection 1A of the Trade Dispute Act, which states that an employee who takes part in a strike shall not be entitled to wages or other remuneration for the period of the strike. In his address suspending the warning strike on Wednesday, October 22, Asuu President Professor Chris Piuna said the strike was suspended at the union's executive meeting that ended in the early hours of Wednesday, following renewed commitment from the federal government to resolve lingering issues. Piuna said there would have been no warning strike at all if the government had been sincere with the negotiation from onset.
The warning strike is hereby suspended with immediate effect from midnight, Wednesday, the 22nd of October 2025. 2. Should government fail to resolve the issues within the 1 month window, Asuu reserves the right to resume the strike without further notice at all. Asuu appeals to patriotic Nigerians and stakeholders in education to prevail on the government to speedily conclude the renegotiation of the 2009 FGN-Asuu agreement and other outstanding issues. These outstanding issues, government had promised us when we met with them on Saturday that by today, Wednesday, they will begin to act on them. And we hope that they will remember their words.
Asuu had embarked on the industrial action after the expiration of an earlier 14-day ultimatum issued to the government, citing what it described as persistent neglect and insincerity in resolving long-standing demands contained in the 2009 Federal Government of Nigeria and Asuu agreement. The demands of the union include the payment of withheld salaries, promotion arrears, and academic allowances, release of third-party deductions, and revitalization funding for public universities.
There is victory for all. Forward! Forward! Ever!
Welcome back. Any segment of this program is open for sponsorship. Connect with us, support this program, partner with us. I am your host, Abulu Osemahu. Let's do this again next time. And remember to stay